Hello and welcome back to another episode of Things That Are Different in Canada. Just a reminder that these are things that I experience as different having moved here from South Africa and here being Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In today's video I'm going to be covering 5 differences and let's start with number 1. So the first one is the frequency of bi-weekly payments. I cannot think of a single thing in South Africa that I would pay bi-weekly. Everything that I had was either monthly or annual subscriptions, from my cell phone to rent to insurance, you name it. I didn't pay anything bi-weekly. But here in Canada, bi-weekly payments is more common. For example, our car payments are bi-weekly payments. Ian's gym membership is a bi-weekly payment. When Ian receives his salary, it's paid bi-weekly. Now, because I draft employment contracts, I am familiar with companies in South Africa that pay fortnightly. However, I wouldn't say that that is very common, and often we did that in employment contracts to assist certain employees to make sure that their money stretched for the whole month and they were able to cover their payments at the end of the month. But here, bi-weekly payments or fortnightly payments seems to be a much more common thing. Now, number 2, and that is basement living. So first of all, I don't know a single house in South Africa where people use their basement. Do I? No, I don't know anybody in South Africa who used their basement, either be it for storage or as extra rooms or to live in. However, here in Canada, it seems to be very common to have basement living. So what we've experienced here is that most of the houses will have a basement, and then either the people living in that house will use the basement rooms as just rooms in their house, or our Airbnb, for example, was a walkout basement. And in our current house, we live in the main house, and the basement has a different tenant living in the basement, and he has his own entrance, so he doesn't come through our house, he goes in the side of the house. Now, number 3 is here we experience that there is a mixture of how to measure things. In South Africa, we use the metric system. In the US, I'm familiar that they use the imperial system. And my assumption with Canada was that they also use the metric system. And I based that off of the jokes in How I Met Your Mother. I'm not proud of how much of my expectations of Canada came from How I Met Your Mother. But anyway, since being here, we have experienced a range of how you measure things. The first most common one is things are weighted in pounds, which is not something that I've ever used. I know kgs, so that has been an adjustment. And I'm finding that more people do things in pounds versus kgs here, but there is still kgs. So when you're buying stuff, you have to look really nicely. Am I buying it in pounds or am I buying it in kgs? I haven't noticed a lot of usage of like something is this many miles away, and all the road signs are in kilometers as far as I know. But then another one is that our appliances randomly would be Fahrenheit or Celsius. And when we spoke to people about this, the assumption was that those appliances are sort of made for America or come from America. So therefore, the initial setting, the default setting, is Fahrenheit. Now, I can still be on board with doing the calculation from kg to pounds or kilometers to miles, but Fahrenheit to Celsius is one that I definitely struggle with. Luckily, our stove had a setting and I could change it to Celsius. But this was a thing when I was buying a water thermometer for Elba. I specifically had to read the reviews to check whether it was in Fahrenheit or in Celsius. Number 4. The cars here, specifically in Alberta, only have number plates on the back. Funny-ish story, when I used to watch movies when I was younger and the cars only had number plates on the back and didn't have any number plates on the front, I thought that was a movie thing. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize that it was a US thing and not a movie thing. But anyway, here in Calgary, Alberta, we have only number plates on the back. I think that this is province specific in Canada because I have seen some British Columbia number plates on the front of vehicles. So I'm only speaking about Alberta. I'm not sure about the other provinces. But what I was wondering when I see that there are only number plates on the back is cameras, like road cameras, if you're gonna get a speeding fine, do they only take pictures from the back of the vehicle, or I would assume they'd have to only take pictures from the back of the vehicle. These are the things that keep me up at night, how they take speed camera photos in Alberta. No, I'm kidding. All right, and now for number 5, the final one for today's video, I decided to throw in a bit of a cultural experience that is different. So number 5 is that people here, in my experience, are not very nosy. So here you can see into most houses from the road, from the pavement, the sidewalk, whatever it's called. You can see straight into somebody's house. Our lounge has big windows that are right onto the road. Anybody can look in, except people don't seem to look in. People don't seem that interested to stare into other people's houses here. They just seem to be going about their business. Now this one made me feel a bit like a creep because I do, when I'm walking around, look into people's houses, and I do think it is more common in South Africa to just like look at people's decor, look at what they're doing if you can see them. And I mean, in South Africa it's not all that easy because the walls around people's houses are generally pretty high, so maybe that's why when we are able to see, we look. Whereas here, people are not looking into our house. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we have a basement tenant. He can see straight into our kitchen when he comes home, but he doesn't seem to look. Just seems to be going about his business. Anyway, South Africans watching this might come at me and say it's just me and I'm a creep looking into other people's houses, but that's what I experience as culturally different for today's video. And with that, I'm going to conclude today's video. Remember to like this video if you like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos. Thanks for watching.